Brian Shore with FasterHouse here with another real life story of a house that I bought recently. This house was out in Lake St. Louis, Missouri. Um, a smaller house out there for that community. But the story of it is a gentleman called me. It was his parents' house. As a matter of fact, he had grown up in the house. They'd lived there for I'm going to say 40, 45 years, a long time. And as a matter of fact, his dad had built the house, and almost everything was still original. They hadn't updated hardly anything or changed anything over the years. They'd taken good care of it. It was just everything was original. So it needed a considerable amount of updating. And the gentleman also had four other brothers and sisters. So there are five siblings altogether. And this gentleman that was called me was the only one that lived here in the St. Louis metro area. All of his brothers and sisters lived, elsewhere around the country. So he was the one that, I guess in a way, it kind of was responsible for, settling the estate. So he had a fair amount of work to do, and he had a busy life on top of that. So he wanted it easy, especially since whatever proceeds were coming out of this house was going to be split five ways. So anyway, I met him out at the house, looked at the house. It was a house that fit right up my alley. It was a house that I could buy and rehab and resell, and that's what I did with the house. But anyway, we negotiated a price that worked for both of us. He checked in with his siblings, made sure everybody was good with it, and we wrote up a contract. Met at the title company about a week later and signed the papers and went from there. But this is a somewhat typical scenario that I run into a lot, where somebody inherits a house and there's several siblings involved, and the house needs a lot of work, and one of the siblings is kind of responsible for, getting it done because they're the one that lives local. And that person quite often is a little bit overwhelmed, and sometimes often I can make it real easy for them, and in the end, it's not that much different on how much each one of the siblings gets, whether they sell it to me as is, or if they go to the trouble of rehabbing it and then reselling it. Usually the one that's local ends up doing a lot of work for just a very small marginal increase in the amount of money that they're getting back in the end. So anyway, that's a very typical story for a house that I buy, and I wanted to share that with you. I hope that helps. Thanks.